Live from a secret location somewhere in northeast Wisconsin, it's Clubhouse Live, the virtual show. We'll look back on how the Packers fared with our co-host Marquez Valdes-Scantling. We'll talk football. We'll take a peek at what's next on the schedule, and we'll have our usual fun too. We're ready. MVS is ready. Are you ready? It's time to get started. Let's open the doors and welcome to Clubhouse Live!
Good evening, everybody. That's right. Welcome back to another edition of Clubhouse Live, the virtual show back in the bubble, high atop the 10th floor. We can, I guess, reveal our secret location. It is in the 222 building, since we showed it in the opening there, downtown Appleton, Wisconsin. Show number 296 for us, the countdown to 300 underway, and I can't wait for show number 300 here in a few weeks. First, Happy New Year to everybody out there. We hope the new year brings you peace, happiness, right, health, and lots of Packers victories to everybody. Doing out there tonight? Let me hear you. It's another Victory Monday show. More on that in a little bit. But first, the powers that be aren't requiring me to do this tonight, but I'm doing this out of my own goodwill because it's his birthday tonight. It is, ladies and gentlemen, Chicago Bears fan. How about a chorus of boos anyway, though? Chicago Bears fan, Ricardo Arguello, everybody. Let's hear it.
Well, we're not hearing it.
There are no boos.
January 3rd, Cappy. That's all I got to say.
Well, Ricardo, happy birthday to you. Yeah, you're getting a lot of laughs, but happy birthday to you. And I guess you got an early birthday gift if you want to do your quick Bears minute. The Bears had a big win over the Giants yesterday. Why don't you talk about that?
Hey, it was probably the most boring 29-3 game you'll ever find. I barely made it awake, throughout the entire thing. But, hey, a win's a win. They finished off against the hated Vikings, and hopefully I'll see my guy, Justin Fields, play.
Hey, good news for Packers fans. The fact that the Bears keep winning means Matt Nagy going to keep his job.
No, I hope not.
That's great for the NFC North. And did you know this, Ricardo? A little stat pack for you.
Here we go.
Bears 4-2 with Nick Foles and Andy Dalton as a starting quarterback. Justin Fields just 2-8 when he starts. What's going on there?
Very quality backups, I will say this for sure. But, hey, it's always an interesting thing when you got a rookie quarterback. 2-8, tough teams he played against, a murderer's row. If you look at the schedule, anybody can go and do that. But, Brett, I always remind you, 6-10, that was Rodgers' first year as starter. That was coming off a team that was an interception away from making the Super Bowl.
Okay, enough with your Bears minute, birthday boy. We're done with you. But let me just say, we'll talk about the guys out there that we have here, MVS and Josiah Deguara, here in a second, about Aaron Rodgers, the Hall of Famer. Justin Fields, not even close to that. Let's talk about the Packers, shall we, everybody? How about Packers 37, Minnesota Vikings 10? Let me hear the cheers for that one. It was what a Sunday night it was at Frosty Lambeau Field as the Packers not only booted the hated Vikings out of the playoff race, but also, and most importantly, secured the NFC's top playoff seed after routing their division rivals. In doing so, Green Bay also became the first team, Ricardo, in league history to win 13 games in 3 straight seasons. How about that? That's according to ESPN stats and information. Aaron Rodgers, we're just talking about him, 288 yards, 2 touchdowns, further cementing his case to win a second straight NFL MVP. Devontae Adams, 11 catches, 136 yards, and a touchdown. Broke his own franchise record for receptions in a season. And don't forget about the two-headed monster there in the backfield, right? Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, they led a rushing attack that totaled 174 yards. Meanwhile, the Packers defensively, they limited Minnesota to just 206 yards. That included a mere 27 yards, Ricardo, on the ground. So that's 13 in the wagon. Lions week begins now, and I guess the big question is how many guys are going to maybe sit out with the number 1 seed and the bye week all settled. We'll co-host there in a little bit. But happy Vince, he's still here, even though it's virtual. Happy loves division championships. He loves football. Let's see. The birthday boys at PC Ricardo, Marquez at MVS _11, and Josiah's at Josiah D5. So, hey, I've got the Lions welcome mat onto the stage, I guess, because it is Lions Week. So you can rest assured we're stomping our feet all over that ugly logo as well. Let's get our co-host up to the screen. Our co-host is in his 4th NFL season all with the Green Bay Packers. He's averaging 16.5 yards per reception this season, 17.5 for his career.
That's it, right? For around.
Again, it's been a few weeks since you're on with us. Last time was actually our last in-person show with Kenny Clark. And by the way, you made it abundantly clear when we were doing in-person shows that you didn't like sitting next to me. This is getting a little carried away now doing this virtual stuff here. I mean, was I that bad that we couldn't be hanging out here?
Sometimes you smell bad.
Oh, but not like our guy Kenny Clark.
Yeah, please. I'm not like Kenny, am I?
No. He has a different type of smell to him.
I don't even want to know what kind of smell I have. So, speaking of Kenny, MVS, now, again, we haven't seen you since after that Ravens performance. You had a big game that night. Kenny was coming at you on Twitter that night. Now, we haven't had an opportunity to hear you respond to some of the trash talk that he was sending you out on the Twitterverse. And I think I remember one tweet saying that he thought he could maybe cover you on the field. I mean, are we serious here? Everybody is waiting patiently, eagerly to hear your response to Kenny Clark's tweets aimed at you that night.
Well, he had COVID. He didn't have all his brain cells there, so that was it was the COVID that got to him during that time.
He was delirious.
Like I had it
delirious.
Yeah, I had it the following week, and I see what it did to me. So I can only imagine someone with a small brain what it would do to them.
Oh, nice.
He doesn't let up, does he?
No, I love it.
Yes. Well, Kenny Clark saying he could finally cover you, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think the big nose tackle can cover the speedy wide receiver. So we'll chalk that up, Ricardo. It's a COVID brain.
Right. Okay.
But in all seriousness, MVS, you were out last week because of COVID. I'm guessing when everybody wants to know how you're feeling. It was great to see you back on the field yesterday. But physically, how are you? How were you feeling, and how did it affect you? Was it more mild, or did you feel a little bit?
No, I'm feeling better. it definitely put me down for a while. It took me a while to get my win back. So that's why I didn't play as much as I normally do last night. Just kind of wanted to get my feet back under me, not being able to practice, as much as I wanted to, dealing with all the complications that COVID brought. But yeah, it is definitely not fun. So be safe out there and wear your mask because that thing is rough.
Yeah, it's funny how it affects people differently, Ricardo. Some, like MVS, feel it. Some really have it bad. Some not so much. So yeah, but you're right. Hopefully, we can get past this. What should be, at least I'm praying for, a final wave, and we can get back to in-person stuff, regardless of how stinky I am. Apparently, so. All right, Rosie, it is time to unveil the MVS GIF of the night. Let's see it. We're still doing it. This will indicate kind of how everybody is feeling about the big game. There he is. Yes, everybody was pumped like MVS there after beating the Minnesota Vikings and getting that number 1 seed. So, yes. And we got some music with the MVS GIF of the night as well.
Oh, we got a pooch in the background.
Well,
we got
that's
two
coming
of
up.
All right.
That's coming up. We don't want to give away the segment too much, but is that a good gift? Gift for MVS? Is that a good indicator of how you and everybody was feeling last night after the big game?
Yeah, it was definitely that feeling there for sure. I got some dog fur in my hand, so
He's not
pups
pulling
are
the
shedding
fur
right
out.
now.
It's shedding, right?
Yeah, they're
If
shedding
I think
bad
that's
right
the
now.
kind of
Got,
dog
got a
that I
brush.
think it is, there's a lot of hair. There we go.
The dog
Yeah.
brush, yeah.
Got the
Yeah,
dog brush.
that's
Yeah,
messy.
right next to me.
That's
Yeah, it's
messy,
gonna get,
just like
it's gonna get
spring cleanup after a long winter. That front yard can get a little nasty, if you know what I'm saying. So, Marquez, Matt LaFleur, after the game, quote, he says, "I don't think anybody in that locker room is going to take a deep breath like, hey, we've arrived. We know that every game, basically from here on out, is do or die," end quote. So while you guys are excited, this Lions game doesn't mean anything as far as playoff positioning. How do you approach this final game with the Vikings? What's the mindset, or the Lions, I should say? What's the mindset going into Week 18?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got the bye week, so we don't want to take 2 weeks off. That'll be a long time to not play football. So we'll kind of figure out what we're going to do for this upcoming week and how many guys are going to play and how long we're going to play. Because obviously you don't want to lose any guys in the last game of the season heading into the playoffs. But you also can't think that way because you can lose a guy on the first play of the game in a playoff game. So you just never know. But you also don't want to get rusty and not do anything for 2 weeks. So got to find that happy medium.
Yeah, fine line, right, Ricardo? Don't want to get rusty like MVS says, but you gotta take it easy here. Maybe a half.
You got to be smart about it, and every team kind of does a little bit different than the other when they get in that situation.
Yeah, we'll see what Matt LaFleur comes up with here this week as they get ready for Detroit Week 18. But third straight season, Marquez, 13 victories, right? You've been all part of those, all three of those teams. What makes this team different than the previous two?
I think this team's a little bit different because obviously last year we were relatively healthy for the most of the year on both sides of the ball, and I think this year we've had to play a lot of different guys. We've gotten a lot of good minutes due to injuries, and so I think that's kind of the biggest thing that we've been able to go in and have the same record with a bunch of different guys and being resilient, throughout those situations, and I think that's helped us out a lot. I think that's going to pay dividends later on down the road.
I'm wondering, too, what else might pay dividends for you guys to finally get over that hump, get to the Super Bowl. A lot of the guys, this isn't like a brand new team from even 2 years ago. There's a lot of experience here. A lot of you guys have been together in part of all these victories. You've been to the last 2 championship games together. In what ways does that experience help you get ready for this playoff push?
Yeah, I mean, it's not new to us. Like I said, this will be, my third time going to the playoffs, 2 NFC championships, and I think just having that experience and knowing what the playoffs feels like, and, obviously us playing at home is a huge advantage to us. So being able to, play in those environments and it be to our advantage is going to be huge. And then having all the guys that have had multiple opportunities to go out there and experience it, and see what it's like to have a playoff atmosphere. It's obviously it's a little bit more intense than, the regular season, and every single play matters. Obviously, they all matter in regular season games too, but these matter a little more, So obviously you want guys who have been in those situations that know how to handle that pressure.
You mentioned Lambeau Field. I actually don't really have it on the script, but it was cold last night. That benefits you, right? I mean, as much as maybe you guys don't love playing in the cold yourselves, that's still a big part of Lambeau's home field advantage, right?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, the cold sucks for everybody. But, they definitely didn't want to be out there last night either. And it definitely affected them a lot more than it affected us. And you can tell just the way they played. That's a good football team that puts up a fight every time they play. But for some reason, no matter if it was the quarterback situation or what, but they definitely didn't have the same fight that they had the last time we played them.
Marquez, wear sleeves. Wear sleeves. It's not that big of a deal. I don't care what Davante Adams says. Stay warm the next time you have a frigid game at Lambeau Field.
Yeah, I was looking over at their sideline. I think their entire team had sleeves on. You can just tell that they were just cold, man.
Well, I have a question from online about that. Sheboygan
go
Ron,
ahead.
he's asking, hey, MVS, was that the coldest game you've ever played in?
No, it wasn't the coldest game. Probably temperature-wise, it was probably the coldest, but I think the coldest game was when we played Chicago in 2019 at home toward the end of the year. I think it was a noon game, but I think that was definitely the coldest game I've ever played in, for sure.
I think it helped that it wasn't too windy last night, so
Right.
the wind
it
chill
wasn't
wasn't
that much,
as brutal as it could have been.
Yeah, I think that was definitely
go
the
ahead.
factor. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was definitely played a huge factor because we only had like 5-mile-an-hour winds. I think when we played Chicago, it was up to 15 or 20. So definitely a huge difference when that wind is blowing.
Yeah, we don't like the wind either. Even those of us who are born and raised in this ice box we call Wisconsin. So, listen, we've talked about number 12 on the show a bunch of times over the many years we've been on. But I'm going to ask you, how do you describe how he's playing right now? I mean, it's I don't know. I can't explain it. Can you explain it as a teammate?
I mean, he's just the best player in the world, and it's kind of the only way to explain it. I mean, he's doing everything that he's doing with 9 toes. Like the guy's the best in the world, man, and there's no doubt about it.
So check this out. Okay, 35 TDs to just 4 interceptions. He's has a league best 111.1 passer rating, right? We all know that. Over his past 6 games, Ricardo, guys, 18 touchdowns and no interceptions. I mean, this is ridiculous. So MVS, state your case. If you're a voter, if you're in that voting room, why does Aaron Rodgers deserve to win his second straight MVP?
Why doesn't he deserve it? It's a better question. Who's playing better? Who's willing their team to win every week? And who's doing it week in and week out, no matter the circumstances. I don't think you can find anybody else that's playing as good as he is. Obviously Jonathan Taylor's playing well, but it's tough to beat out Aaron Rodgers, man, because there's nothing that you can't get him to do, no matter what. And he's doing all this with a broken foot. So.
Yeah, it's incredible. It looks like he's well on his way. Ricardo was 4th MVP, second straight. Looks like he's got a lot of football left in the tank as well. So we'll see how that goes. But and speaking of Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams kind of indicated, he said he's definitely spoiled the fans and the rest of the world with his play. Are we spoiled? Are you spoiled? I mean, look at that. Some of those throws he made last night. I mean, he threw that one where Chris Boyd had his back towards the play. Pretty good coverage on Davante, and yet he just sailed the ball right past Boyd's head. I mean, it's just those plays like that where you almost just kind of shrug your shoulders a little bit because we've seen him so many times. But we are spoiled a little bit, aren't we, Marquez, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I mean, I know I am. Obviously playing in the cold sucks, but I mean, I'd rather play in the cold with the best quarterback to ever throw a football than play in warm weather with no quarterback. So he's literally one of a kind. And I know I'm definitely grateful to have him as a teammate and as a friend.
Yeah, absolutely. See how he continues to play here as we get ready for the playoffs. Another guy playing at a Hall of Fame level, of course, one of your good friends, teammate, Davante Adams, right, doing some historical things as well. What are some of the takeaways that have benefited you that you've used in watching him, observing him, whether it's in the meeting rooms, on the field? that you've tried to implement in your game? Because he's kind of one of a kind as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, obviously having Devontae as, the best wideout in the league, and one of the best players in the league, you can't ask for more, man. He's literally the epitome of what you want to be as a wideout, doing it year in and year out, nonstop and being able to showcase his talents, across the world. And he's the best in the game, man. And he's taught me so many things, and I'm grateful to have him as a friend and a teammate.
I want to talk about this a little bit because we weren't able to, we tried to have you on a couple weeks ago after that great Ravens game for you. 5 catches, 98 yards. You had a historic touchdown, the game, or the franchise record tying touchdown pass for Aaron Rodgers. So I just wanted to get your take. But, Rosie, can you put maybe some of the pictures again of that day of Marquez catching? There he is, the beautiful shot of you lunging into the end zone with touchdown, was that 442 for Aaron Rodgers? And then I think there's another great one we have here of you guys celebrating afterwards. Why did you keep the ball, MVS, and why not maybe keep the ball hostage and ask for some compensation from number 12?
I actually have the ball sitting on my counter right next to me, or in the kitchen right next to me. But he didn't want it. He didn't want it. I asked him if he wanted it. He said he didn't want it. He said I can keep it because he said he was going to get the record-breaking one. I guess he didn't really care about the one that tied it, so want the one that broke it. But, I got it sitting on my kitchen counter, so I'll keep it. Never let that thing go. So
absolutely. Wake up in the morning.
Someone wants it.
Yeah, wake up in the morning, eat a little cereal, and stare at the football that tied the record. That's how you do it. Hey, one more thing, Marquez, before we take our first time out, do our stat pack, but we talked about COVID a little bit with you, but can you describe it's been an odd season for you, and I'm wondering, you were sidelined earlier, 5 games with a hamstring injury, you had some hip and back issues, then COVID forced you to miss a game. How frustrating of a ride has this been for you personally, and how do you keep, because I know you've always been big on just kind of staying right steady as she goes. How do you not get too low, not get too high? How do you just sort of weather the storm here and await your next big opportunity despite some of the setbacks you've had?
Yeah, man, it's football. It's going to happen. I've been fortunate enough to not really miss any games in my entire career, even dating back to high school. So I knew it was going to catch up with me eventually. It just sucks that it had to be this year. But, I'm still staying even keel, and, it's all a part of the plan, and can't question God's plan. So that's kind of how I just look at it. And, who knows what would have happened if I would have played those games and I was injured. So, God just sat me down and said, hey, you need to chill for a second so we can make sure that you can make it for the long haul.
Yeah, and I expecting some big performances. You watch, Ricardo. That's how this thing works. All of a sudden, some monster games coming up here in the playoffs. You're waving me down. You got something online?
I thought this was an interesting question. Thank you to Bill Glasheen for getting this question over to us. It's from online. It's from Mindy Shulak, I believe. She's a skier, and she has heated gloves. She's wondering if those kind of gloves are available to you, if there's enough, a grip or whatnot in terms of wearing those. What kind of gloves do you wear? Are they heated?
No, we don't really have heated gloves. I wear my normal gloves. They have some, warm weather gloves where they have like different types of insulation inside the gloves, but sometimes it, may be too thick or you can't really feel the football. So that could play a huge part in it. So, I just wear my normal gloves out there and just try to keep my hands as warm as possible.
There you go. Good question. So, yeah. Let's take a time out. Let's do our Mark Olejniczak Realty Stat Pack. If you're buying or selling real estate in Northeast Wisconsin, contact the licensed professional realtors at Mark Olejniczak Realty. Call 920-432-1007 or visit olej.com. Now, guys, we often brag up the offensive guys in our weekly Stat Pack, but let's highlight a couple of the Packers' defensive stars. Rashawn Gary had a sack in Sunday's win, now has a career-high 9.5 sacks this season. He had 5 sacks last season, actually 7 total in his career coming into this year. And don't forget about the guy on the other side, Preston Smith. He also had a sack Sunday night, now has 9 sacks on the season and having a big bounce-back season after having 4 sacks last year. His career high is 12. So 2 pass rushers really getting at the quarterback and bringing the signal caller down, which has been big. But of course, I'd still have to do, Ricardo, some of the offensive guys, right?
Okay.
Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, they have both surpassed 1,000 yards from scrimmage on the season. That's only the 4th time in franchise history the Packers have had 2 backs accomplish that feat in the same season, first since 1980. And also, get this, Ricardo, Aaron Rodgers, 36 touchdowns and no interceptions in games against the NFC North over the past 2 seasons.
I don't think you can play much better than that.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's got to be a 158.3 against the rest of the league. So, all right, MVS, let's get tonight's guest up to the screen. He is in his 2nd season, both with the Packers. He was selected by the Packers in the 3rd round of the 2020 NFL Draft. He has appeared in 15 games this season, has 22 receptions for 179 yards and a touchdown. He started collegiately at the University of Cincinnati, where he finished as one of only 2 tight ends in Bearcats history with at least 1,000 career receiving yards. Our guest tonight earned All-American Athletic Conference honors at Cincinnati, where he also finished with 92 career receptions. That's a program record for a tight end. He posted 77 of his 92 career catches over his final 2 seasons with the Bearcats. He has been called savvy and smart by Matt LaFleur. He is a versatile piece of the Packers offense. He used to be a quarterback. Is that true? We're going to find out. And once incorrectly answered the question, now this is prior to being drafted by the Packers, of which NFL quarterback he'd like to catch a pass from. We'll let him explain that here in a little bit. But for now, how about a Clubhouse Live virtual welcome? There he is for Green Bay Packers tight end or fullback, number 81, Josiah Deguara. There he is. Josiah, welcome to Clubhouse Live, the virtual show.
Who picks this music?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Rosie.
He's calling you out, Rosie. Oh, yeah, Rosie getting a little ornery back. He wants to know what you want. Here we go. We got a little fight brewing here behind the scenes.
You guys got to remember there's copyright stuff going on, so we can't just pick normal music.
Let me pick the music next week. Let me pick the music next week.
The fans can hit. It's going to be the show where MVS picks the music. So
DJ MVS.
Yes. All right. Josiah, this is Marquez's show, and you are his guest. So MVS always asks the first question of the night.
Jojo, what's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
I guess the question that I have to ask is how do you get your beard to be so full? I'm working on it, but I can't really grow mine. What do you do?
I think the biggest thing, number one, is genetics. That's the first thing I tell people, because
blame my parents.
If you don't have the genetics, it's tough. So yeah, blame your parents, blame your grandparents.
Yeah.
And then the usual beard oil, stuff like that helps. But from a growth standpoint, I guess it's kind of a gift from God.
Yeah, you got it or you don't. Got
exactly.
You know, guys, if you can kind of see, I got a beard thing growing here too. But the problem with mine, Josiah, is there's a lot of gray, a lot of wisdom in there. So what can I do to maybe look more full? Because right now it looks kind of sparse, but it's all gray.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a little salt and pepper. I'm honestly looking forward when I get a little bit gray in my beard. I think it's a nice touch.
Thank
you. The ladies love it, Brett.
They do love it. I have to admit, my wife. I kind of threatened to shave my beard, and she said no, I can't do it. So, guys, enough beard talk.
She'd probably be scared of you if you did.
What was that?
She'd probably be scared of you if you did shave it.
I stink. People are afraid of me. What more can he insult me with tonight, Ricardo?
You probably look like James Harden. You ever seen James Harden without his beard?
I have seen pictures of James
He looks
Harden.
goofy. You don't look right.
He looks odd.
Scary sight right there.
Yeah, much scarier than me. Much scarier than me. If I shaved off my beard, I would look like I'm 25 years old.
Oh, please. Let's not be crazy here.
It's true. It's true. Josiah?
I haven't seen my actual face in about 3 years, so I don't know what I would look like.
How about this?
retired in the Packers history. So I'm like, all right, well, never mind. I can't change my number now. So
100-year-old franchise, you'll get that.
Am I thinking like number 14?
literally.
Is that the number you'd want?
Actually, the number I was gonna get was 11. That was what I wore in college and in high
Yeah.
school. But that one was taken when I first got here. And then when I wanted to change it this year, um, literally all the other numbers were just retired.
Interesting. I think you could make some money here on the side, Marquez, if you decide to change it to 11 next year, and
Nah,
Josiah might be willing to pay a steep price.
nah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't charge JoJo anything.
Okay, very nice. Now, he's nice to his own teammates, but he's
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. I played quarterback growing up until 8th grade or 9th grade, but then I got beat out by my boy Jake Browning. He's on the Bengals practice squad right now, but I got beat out by him. So switch positions, never look back.
Yeah, well, I was just wondering, maybe could we see a little. Speaking of quarterbacks here, I asked MVS a little bit earlier, but Josiah, you ever shake your head at what your true
Yeah.
Whoop. There we go. We got to get to there. He is at Minnesota. The Vikings speak of the devil, but he goes back to his left. He uncorks that dart to you, Harrison Smith. You can see right there in pretty tight coverage. I guess what were you thinking as that ball was humming your way? Like, are you really going to try to fit this in here, Aaron, or what's going on in your mind when you're seeing that thing just buzzing your way?
Yeah, I actually got in my bedroom.
hard to do, no matter what people say.
I ask Josiah. They want to know what it's like being on the field with a future Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the first question everybody asks when you're a part of the Green Bay Packers is what it's like being in the locker room with Aaron every day. That's the first question everybody asks. So it's great to be around him. Obviously, like we said, we're spoiled a little bit, but you just try to take in every moment and learn from him and our other great vets that we have.
You know, one more thing I wanted to ask you about, Josiah. There's a little Q&A. I've got it right here. I think you were with the Spun and looking at your NFL Combine experience. And one of the questions that they asked you was this. The answer was Tom Brady.
And playing in the NFL and being drafted, I'm always going to root for them because our conference doesn't get the type of respect and love it deserves because we have a lot of talented players in the American Conference. So for starters, let's start there. And then, but just even like when Josiah first got here, everyone didn't kind of know who he was. Like, okay, they drafted this guy in the third round. Let's see what he can do. And from like day one, he came out and like he just had like a edge to him. Like he was, the underdog. And I just love that about him because like I just seen that so many times just within myself. And then just the way he can move around and what he can do. Um, I think like his first training camp here, he had a choice route where he came out of the backfield and he made like the defender like stumble over, and I'm like, okay, this guy can move, this guy can play a little bit, and it sucked that he got hurt that year, but he came back and still doing the same type of stuff. So he's just a great asset to this team. He sits right in front of me in all of our meetings, so I get to always mess with him. But nah, he's a great guy.
I think Marquez, that's a common theme, Ricardo. He messes with everybody.
He does.
He's relentless. Doesn't give in to these teammates. At least Josiah, I'm assuming, smells better than Kenny Clark, maybe.
Easy. Hey, Brett, I have a question
Yeah.
from online from our friend Kurt Kozad. He's wondering if Josiah, do you miss the NorCal weather, and have you adjusted to Green Bay briskness?
Ooh.
fell apart. But I think they had a legitimate, great football team to go out there and show that our conference is a good place and they're a good football team.
Josiah, I'm sure you were glued to your TV. So, Josiah, a few more things before, Ricardo, we get to our social media question of the night. But Marquez referenced injury last year. Of course, the ACL happened early in the season. So, what was the toughest part in recovering from that? Was it more mental than physical, more physical than mental? And how are you feeling about things now? Obviously, you look pretty good out there. Addition to this offense, especially as we get into the playoffs. What ways have you helped Big Bobby, right? Robert Tunyon going through the same thing you went through last year. I'm sure you've imparted quite a bit of advice. So what are some of the key
to reach out to me, because the people that were there for me that I was able to reach out to meant a lot to me throughout my recovery process. So I'm always there for him, and obviously it could be a lonely place at times. So just let him know that anything he needs, that I'll be there.
Excellent. One more question, Ricardo. Get ready for the social media question of the night from Marquez. But another of your tight end teammates, right? The ageless wonder, Marcedes Lewis. This guy's going to play football till he's 80 years old. It's incredible. 37 years old. Yeah. He's in his 16th season, still blocking and playing at a very high level. Shows he can be dangerous, Ricardo, in the passing game as well. So what has impressed you, Josiah, about what in him. So, Ricardo, take a little break. It's time for tonight's social media question of the night. We know this person,
right?
And it's for Marquez, right?
It's Ashley Bellin on Facebook. She wants to know, hey, after that game against to hear that heading into the playoffs.
I mean, it was just me being able just to get back to the player that I was. You know, obviously having the hamstring injury kind of set me back for a while, and so just being able.
Friends, it's a limited edition bobblehead. Only 500 will be made, and each will be individually numbered. It also will have Bobble Galore's unique AR, or augmented reality technology, so that it comes alive and interacts with the user. The Alan Lizard bobblehead is currently in production and will not be shipped until early spring of 2022. However, pre-sale orders for the bobblehead can be made now at bobblesgalore.com. All the bobbleheads shown on Clubhouse Live are available on bobblesgalore.com. Look for special you buy, the more you save. All right, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to play a game that we call How Well Do You Know? Back to the original but highly popular game. It's a rapid-fire trivia game in which I'm going to ask you guys 5 questions.
Let's go, Wade. I get this dub.
All right. And Josiah, your playing partner is Stephanie Skafidis of Rock Island, Illinois. Can you say hello to Stephanie?
What's up, Stephanie? Let's get it. Let's get
All
this
right.
up.
So
Skafidis. What a name.
that is. I'm hoping I'm saying it right. Skafidis of Rock Island, Illinois. So here's the category. Of course, the NFL family lost a legend this past week, the great John Madden, right? Iconic figure in the NFL. So the question, or the category, guys, is how well do you know the great John Madden, right? How well do you know John Madden? There's a lot of different ways this could go.
Boom.
That might, well, question number 1,
All
Ricardo.
right, sorry, did I mess it up?
Guys, get ready. Here we go. Madden served as the head coach of what NFL team? Ooh, I'm going to give Marquez by
MVS by
a hair.
The
I didn't really hear the
yes.
question.
Marquez said Brett Favre. That is
right.
correct. Ricardo, score.
Hey, that's 3-1, Marquez.
3-1 Marquez now. Didn't EA Sports, that was the year that he played for the Jets. So Marquez, the turducken, the famous turducken. Hey, I tried. The guys did their best, but Rosie, we need some championship music because Wade Kyle of Spokane, Washington is the winner tonight. Yes, and that means, Wade, you are going home with this MBS bobblehead from Bobbles Galore. If Isaac's watching tonight, get him lined up for one as well. Hey, Stephanie, you're in Illinois, and you're going to need this ice scraper this winter, so you're going to have that mailed to you as well. But congratulations to MBS and Wade. All right. Ricardo, if you want to get the Ultimate Tailgate Party stuff, we're winding down. We're about ready to wrap up. But in the meantime, this is the new segment I was telling everybody about. I want to see if we can do the segment that we want to call What Are Ace and Spade Doing Tonight? Right? It is Marquez's dogs, Ace and Spade. Maybe we can get a good look at what they're up to. Let's see your dogs, Marquez.
Spade, come here. Come here. Come here. They're over there wrestling.
Is he trying to get him?
Come here. You're not in trouble. Come here. Ace is coming. Come here.
I hear a dog.
Yeah, they're coming. They're just taking their sweet time.
Here we go. Ace and Spade introduced to the Clubhouse Live country. Who's this one?
Spade.
That's Spade.
Yep. Oh.
There. Wow, big boy.
Whoa.
Yeah, he is. Hey, say hi to the camera. All right.
You could give his owner a nice little kiss there. No, how come?
And then Ace.
Yeah.
Ace is somewhere over here. I don't know where Ace is.
Ace is he's camera shy.
Ace, come here. Nah, he's coming. Come here.
Big pooch.
Here's Ace.
There they. That looks comfortable right now.
Okay.
I wish somebody was scratching my chin.
Okay.
Get out of here. I'm not doing that.
Go play.
Come on, Ricardo. Scratch my chin. Hey, by the way, Marquez, it's Ricardo's birthday today.
Yes.
Oh, happy birthday! The Bears didn't make the playoffs.
Thank you. You're very nice. Sweet of you.
All right.
You're welcome.
We're going to do this here, and then we're going to wrap it up. But do we have to give away an ultimate tailgate party tonight, guys? Screen TVs, whip the Lions next Sunday. High noon is the game.
Today Network, Wisconsin's Packers coverage team. That Packers News app is your one-stop shop for complete coverage of the Green Bay Packers. The app is available for iPhone and Android users only.
Again, thanks to our friends and sponsors, Unison Credit Union, Bobbles Galore, Mark Olenichik Realty, Cooney's Embroidery and Sportswear, USA Today Sports Plus, Mayfield Sports Marketing, Escort Limousine Service, Mike Thiel and Eric Lives here, and of course, good friends at the Paper Valley Hotel. Tonight's keyword, Rosie, can you put that up? That is route, as in a Packers route. MVS and Alan Lazard, our early season co-host. Yep. Both of our co-hosts have signed those. We have one more week, one more show, one more keyword, and then we'll kind of figure out how we're going to give those away and when we'll give those away. So, all right, Marquez, we're all done, but we need you to give the final word tonight.
You open that door for me. Yeah, man. Appreciate everybody that supported us. We're gonna make this huge playoff run to get this thing done. Make sure y'all come out and have Lambeau rocking because we need these 2 playoff home wins, and that's gonna get us to the Super Bowl. Preston Smith just walked in my house, so there we go. So
there we go.
Yeah, so go Packers.
Maybe can you say hi to the camera real quick? There he is.
There he Preston is. Smith. All right.
Yes.
Preston. He just walked in my house.
Maybe
cameo.
We get him
on the show next week.
Yeah, get him on the show. There we go.
Look at the pooches. They're all over him.
He's chewing on him.
Attacking him.
Don't get him hurt, Marquez. You need him for one more game at least, or 4 more games for at least, or something.
Yes, sir.
All right. Josiah, thank you for hanging out with us here on Monday night. We appreciate you. Marquez, same to you. So for JoJo, Detroit Lions, with that guy right there in the middle of the screen. It is Green Bay Packers wide receiver number 83, the Flash, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Mean Gene, you're out there somewhere. Take it away.
Go